The introduction for the introductory part of Python. In this part 1 expression, we are going to understand what are the variables, expressions, and statements. Without any further ado, let's continue. Coming up first is the constants. Constants are the fixed values such as numbers, letters, and strings, which are called constants because their value does not change. Numeric constants are as you expect. String constants use single quotes or double quotes. Suppose print 123 is simply going to print 123, which is a simple number constant. Simply 98.6 is a floating point number which is going to give you a 98.6 as a number. Here hello world inside of this single quote text is also a constant which is going to give you the output with the function print hello world. There are some reserved words which you cannot use as variable names or identifiers. There are all the reserved words that you can see on the screen are used in the program itself, so you cannot use it for variable names or identifiers. So what are variables? We have used variables in before and see what are the variables, but we actually don't know what are variables. So a variable is a named place in a memory where a programmer can use stored data and later retrieve the data using the variable name. Suppose it's like a block where you want something to put on, and in case if you want that book to get that from another time, you can access to that block and you can find that book over there. So it's like a address, or it's like a named place where in the memory where a programmer can store data and later retrieve the data using the variable name, like the example itself of the book in the block. Programmers get to choose the names of the variables. You can change the content of a variable in a later moment. Suppose we have assigned 12.2 to the x variable and 14 to the y. We are going to get output of 12.2 and 14 respectively, x of and y. Similarly, you can change the values to x equals to 4 anything and y is equals to anything variable name. So this was the value where you changed x to 100 and which before was 12.2. So now what you are going to get for the x value is x equals to 100 and y equals to 14. Python variable names rules. So there are variable names rules which must be considered before naming any variable. It must start with a letter or underscore. Must consists of letters, numbers, and underscores. Anything else than that, like a pound sign or at the rate sign, or you can say dollar sign, are not considered as variables. These are very case sensitive. So suppose you write good in a small case letter and good in with a capital letter, both are the different names. These are the good, bad, and different spam names, or you can say variables listed below. Sentences or lines. X equals 2 is an assignment statement. X equals to x plus 2 is an assignment with an expression, and this is the print statement. So variable, operator, constant, and a function, where x is a variable in this part, operator is a plus operator, constant is you can see 2 which is a constant, and function is a print function here. So you have known what are the variables, operators, constants, and function. Variables are the names x, y, z, anything that you can assign to a block. Operator are the assignment operators. Suppose you can assignment operator, plus operator, minus, dividend, multiplication, and all those operators you see or you will use in the future case. Constants are the any names or a value that cannot be changed inside of that function. And function is a function predefined which is used inside of the Python program to get some output. Mnemonic variable names. Since we programmers are given a choice in how we choose our variables name. There is a bit of best practice. We name variables to help us remember what we intend to store them into. Memory aid, which is mnemonic, mnemonic. This can confuse beginning students because well named variables often sound so good that they must be a keyword. But it is a best practice. Suppose if you are storing a variable name of apples, how many apples are there? So you are not gonna want to store as x equals to apple, you want to say apple count equals to xyz, whatever will be the count. So these are some of the storage variable naming specification which you can specify, or you can say you can have a best practice of naming variables. What is this bit of code doing? This simple is a code which is a variable name and a assignment. Don't get confused with this XLQ3Z address type of name. It's nothing, it's just a variable name which is going to give you the output of exactly what you will name with this whole big of numbers and letters with a simple any variable name. You're just gonna get output of 35.0 times of 12.50. Exactly like the same. We assign a value to a variable using the assignment operator. An assignment statement consists of an expression on the right hand side and a variable to store the result. As you can see below, x equals to 3.9 star x star bracket inside of this 1 minus x. Exactly. A variable is a memory location used to store a value. The right side is an expression. Once the expression is evaluated, the result is placed in assigned to x. A variable is simply, this was the expression which you will get at the 0.936 as the output of this expression. So this was variables, expressions, constants, operators introduction, where you learned about what are the operators, expressions, variables, assignments and constants. Thank you so much for continuation with this Python for Everybody course. Be sure to be continued and subscribe to this channel. Like if you share, dislike if you not. Have a nice day.